Hello, my dear students of class 10. So, yesterday we discussed the text, his first flight. There we have seen that a small seagull was in dilemma whether to fly or not to fly, and how his mother helped him to fly at last. Right? So, first, today we will discuss the questions in short, then we will move on to the next text. So, first, thinking about the text. Why was the young seagull afraid to fly? You know the answer? Because he was thinking that his wings will not support him, right? And he might fall down, and other reasons. So you can write, and many of you have already written the answer. Next, do you think all young birds are afraid to make their first flight, or are some birds more timid than others? Timid means meek, frightened, right? So do you think all young birds are afraid to make their first flight? Yes, a little bit. All the little birds are kind of nervous or afraid to fly for the first time. And some birds are also timid, meek, or afraid. Do you think a human baby also finds it a challenge to take its first steps? So, when a human baby starts to walk, so for the baby also it was kind of challenging. So, all these are actually positive answers. Yes, the human baby also finds it a challenge to take its first steps. It takes time. Sometimes the baby tries to walk, then he or she then fell down again. So in this way, the sight of the food maddened him. What does this suggest? Means the seagull became mad after seeing the food. Why this? Because he was very much hungry. He didn't eat anything for the whole day. That's why. So after seeing the food, he became kind of mad. What compelled the young seagull to finally fly? What compelled? That sight of the food that his mother was bringing to him, and she halted in the mid-air, and then he jumped. So that sight of that food, they were beckoning him, calling shrilly. Why did the seagull's father and mother threaten him and cajole him to fly? Means why were they telling him to fly? Because if he doesn't fly, then he will stay alone, right? He will not get food. So they were forcing him, they are pushing him to fly. And I have to explain in details. Many of you have already explained. Those who haven't must explain. Have you ever had a similar experience where your parents encouraged you to do something that you were too scared to try? Do you have any kind of experience? For example, when you first tried to walk, or first tried to ride bicycle or bike, or you tried to learn swimming, or kind of other things, right? Kind of you're trying to climb up a tree. So discuss this in pairs or in groups. In the case of a bird flying, it seems a natural act and a foregone conclusion that it should succeed. Yes, natural act, and yes, definitely forward conclusion that it will succeed. In the examples you have given in the answer to the previous question, was your success guaranteed, or was it important for you to try regardless of the possibility of failure? Yes. So what do you think? Do you only think about the result, outcome, or will you try? Yes, first you have to try regardless of the result. Yes, you may get succeed or not, you may become successful or not, still you have to try. And those who try hard must become successful in life. So writing and speaking, here you have to speak. Then we have just read about the first flight of the young seagull. Your teacher will now divide the class into groups, and each group will work on one of the following topics. Prepare a presentation with your group members and then present it to the entire class. Progression of the models of airplanes. Okay. Progression of the models of motor cars, birds and their wingspan, and migratory bird tracing their flight. So we will do these things later when the school will reopen. I will ask you to do it now. Writing. Write a short composition on your initial attempts at learning a skill. You could describe the challenges of learning to ride a bicycle or learning to swim. Yes, make it as humorous as possible, means comical, so that after reading the writing everyone will laugh. So that's you have to write in your own way. Now we will start the black aeroplane. Right. So here in this particular text we will see another very interesting story. Now let's read. The moon was coming up in the east behind me. So the coming up means rising in the east. So it was kind of evening or dusk. And behind me, that means the narrator was facing what? West. That's why behind me. And stars were shining in the clear sky above me. Above the narrator, the stars were shining, glittering. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. So the sky was cloudless. Cloudless night sky or evening sky. I was happy to be alone high up above the sleeping countryside. So it was sleeping countryside below, and the narrator was alone and he was happy. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. The narrator was flying his old Dakota aeroplane and he was going over France and he was going to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. He was dreaming about his holiday. Right? He was going to spend his holiday and he was thinking to reunite with his family members. I looked at my watch. 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning. Okay, time was 1:30. So it was kind of night sky, right? So I should call Paris Control soon, I thought, as I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane. And the author said, or the narrator thought, I should call Paris Control room. Paris Control soon. Very quickly he will call the Paris Control, I thought. The narrator thought. As he looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of big city in front of me. The narrator saw the lights of the big city in front of him. I switched on the radio and said, Paris Control, Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. So, means radio or wireless, that phone, right? And they have to call they have to call the control room in this way, and at last they have to call over. Means he finished his conversation. So Paris control, Dakota DS088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered immediately. Then there was reply or answer. DS088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. So that kind of instruction from the control room that to turn 12 degrees west. DS088 over. I checked the map and the compass. Switched over to my second and last fuel tank. The narrator checked the map and the compass and then switched over his second and last fuel tank of the aeroplane and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. So according to the instruction, he switched 12 degrees west towards England. I will be in time for breakfast, I thought. And I thought he will be in time for breakfast. A good big English breakfast. He was thinking to have very good English breakfast. Means after reaching England, he will have breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Without any hazard, problem, danger. A kind of easy flight, smooth flight. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me. So he was leaving behind and he was moving forward. When I saw the clouds, storm clouds, suddenly he saw clouds, storm clouds, right? So clouds, heap of clouds. They were huge, big, gigantic. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. They were like kind of black mountains. I knew I could not fly up and over them. So I knew that he could not fly up and just cross them. And I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. And he did not have that enough fuel to fly around them and to go north direction or south direction and to cross them or not to touch them. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought. And the writer thought he had to go back to Paris. But I wanted to get home. But he thought, no, I will go home. I wanted that breakfast. He wanted to enjoy that breakfast in England. I will take the risk. And I thought, I will take the risk. I thought. And flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. And then he flew straight into that storm of clouds. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. So everything became suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. It was impossible for the narrator to see outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air, jumping, twisting. So it was not a smooth or easy flight anymore. I looked at the compass. Narrator looked at the compass. I couldn't believe my eyes. The narrator couldn't believe his eyes. The compass was turning round and round. Means it was not working, turning round and round and round. It was dead. The compass was not working. It would not work. The other instruments were certainly dead too. Other instruments that were there in the plane, they were also not working. I tried the radio to connect to that control room. Paris control. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Then what happened? We will see in the next class. Thank you.